everybody, and welcome to Creativity Time. I am Tatiana Tobin, Independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Port Macquarie. Welcome to my live. Thank you so much for joining me at a later time than usual. I had to take my little boy to the GP just to get him checked over. I'm excited. Today's an exciting day. The holiday catalogue has gone live to everybody, and so all customers can now purchase. Hi Amanda, thank you for joining me. Hello Priscilla, thanks for joining me too. Holiday catalogue, yay! So many beautiful things in there, and we're going to be using my favorite suite. We're going to use the stamp set and maybe the dies. We'll see how we go. It's called the Frosted. Oh geez, would be good if I remembered the name, wouldn't it? Anyway, it's the Frosted one. It has beautiful DSP. The stamp set's lovely. Good morning, Megan. Thanks for joining me. And I had a request to show how to do the ink smooshing technique. It's very technical. So I thought I'd show that with the new holiday catalogue because it works really well with kind of frosted and snowflakey themed cards. So let's flip and get started. Okay, fantastic. Welcome. The courier has arrived. Yay! No, my pleasure, Megan. And your class packet should be posted today or tomorrow. So yay, Megan's stamp set arrived. I managed to order it a bit earlier because I was organised. Fantastic. Thank you for joining me. Hello, Rosaline. Thank you for joining me. Okay, so holiday catalogue. It is finally live today and it is stunning, and I can now open it. And there are so many wonderful bundles in this catalogue. I cannot stop looking at them and thinking and dreaming of different wonderful things we can do. And we will be using this set here. It is the Frosted Foliage bundle. So let's flick to page 41. And that was the one that I demonstrated a card with when I first got my pre-order. So there's the card that I made that time. And hello Sherry. And this is everything that's part of this suite. You don't have to buy it all, but there's a convenient code to buy everything, so you don't have to enter all the bits individually, and that includes the bundles. That means the stamp set and the framelits at the 10% discount. And let's take a look. There's that beautiful DSP again. Hello Renee. And the stamp set that we will be using. So I think I'm happy with my color choice. So we're going to be using the Fluid 100 watercolor paper, and we're going to be doing what is known as the ink smooshing technique. There is no right or wrong in doing this. I'll show you a few different ways that you can do it. But basically, I recommend watercolor paper for this technique because it's watercoloring. You'll be using water. You can use the silicone craft mat, or what I like lately is using the big clear block, which is the F size block. I just find that is a fun one to use. Now I've picked Pool Party, Highland Heather and Pacific Point. You can do one color with the ink smooshing technique. You use 2 or 3. I'm going to go with 3, and you start with the lightest color because you're building the color up, and if you start with the dark color you won't be able to build in the light color on. So one way of doing the ink smooshing technique, so you always start with your ink pad and you press it on either onto your silicone or onto your block. So you ink it up, and then you use the spritzer to add some water. So I'm just going to spritz that up, get it all nice and runny. The more water you add, the more runny it is, and the better, really. You can build up the color. So if you're using one color, you can build it up by starting with a really runny version of the first layer and then build up with darker by making it less watery. Now the first way that you can do the ink smooshing technique is by putting the paper down, and what I like to do is rolling it in so it picks up that color And there we go. That is quite, I actually quite really like the way that it's just picked up like that. Now, hey Vicky, you can roll it around, move the paper around, let the water trickle. And then I can smoosh it down like so again here to pick up a bit more colour. So you can also get your fingers in there, like rub that around a bit. There, like I said, there is really no right or wrong to how to do this technique. It is a little bit messy, so I do recommend covering your surface, your table. I'm quite happy with the way that is. Just pick up the ink. You can also just press it into your, there. I'm going to leave that. That is sufficient enough for my liking. That is our first layer of colour. I'm going to wipe clean my block here, and that's, I'm just using the simple chamois. It's a fantastic tool. It cleans your stamps as well as your blocks. Now I'm going to use Highland Heather. So again, I'm just going to press that in, press that on, should I say, and add some water. Really saturate that. And I'm going to use a slightly different technique now. So here I have a piece of clear acetate, I guess. It's not as thick as our window sheets that we sell. It's thinner. It's actually quite similar to the sheet that you get on the photopolymer. So not the, when you get the photopolymer stamps, you get the sheet. One has the printed side, that's not that one. It's the other one. So it's really flexible, or it can be used from, like, you know, the kids' stickers sheets that come. Anyway, I've saved one. I can't remember where I got this one from, but I've saved it, and this is what I use it for. So I'm going to roll that in and pick the colour up like so, and then blonk it down onto my, so I have a little bit more control as to where the colour goes in this method because I can see through the acetate. So I think for the second and third layers, if you're doing multiple layers, it's a really good way of seeing where you're placing the colour and not, because I don't want to cover everything that I've already done. I want the pool party that we started with to show through. And I'm really happy with the way that is, so I'm going to leave that layer as is. And again, grabbing my Simply Chamois to clear that up. Just going to clean my table up. I got some ink. The inks are all waterproof, water-based, so they're easily cleaned from any surface. So you don't worry too much if you get them. I do recommend a bigger grid paper or some newspaper underneath. Maybe not newspaper. Newspaper ink will bleed into it, but something a bit bigger over it. And ideally, you'd want each layer to dry in between because you don't want the colours bleeding, though it is bleeding here a little bit into each other, and it's quite nice. So depending on the look you want. If you don't want the bleeding, if you don't want the bleeding, let each layer dry completely. You can use paper towel on top, but that will remove some of the colour and subtle it. Now, if that's the look you want, perfect. I don't want to remove any colour, so I'm not doing that. Hey Margaret, thanks for watching and sharing as well. So I'm just letting that bit of that ink. Might just take my chamois a bit and take those edge liquid bits off though. Don't want them sitting. And I'm now going to add my final layer of colour, which is Pacific Point. I don't want a lot of it. Now that's plenty. And once again, we spritz the colour. Spritz, spritz, spritz. Just to get it all runny. And even in that process of spritzing, can you see I got some colour? And I kind of like that. Ooh, that's kind of cool. So yes, be careful when spritzing because it does spread the color. And again, I'm going to pick up with this, and I'm just going to add a little bit of the Pacific Point. I don't want it everywhere. I want the other two colors to show through, and because this is the darker color, it's going to dominate a little bit. So as you can see, I have a bit more control over where that ink goes, and I think that's enough of the Pacific Point, so I'm going to wipe down that. If only you could see, my white desk has now got blue splatter everywhere, but that's okay. So there we go. That is the ink smooshing technique. It is a little bit messy, but it's a lot of fun. I am now going to just grab my heat tool so that I can quickly dry this off so that we can keep stacking and create a lovely card. But if you wanted to, you could certainly, I would recommend, actually, not if you wanted to. If you're impatient, use the heat tool. But otherwise, I would highly recommend using, just letting it air dry. Let it air dry. I'm going to just heat that up, dry it all out, so that we can keep going. Now, if you are using the heat tool, hey Christy, I'm wearing thongs, or flip-flops, should I say, Megan. So, it's not too bad. Now, by drying the back of your paper as well, it's going to curve, but then when I dry the front again, it will curve the other way and kind of balance out that curvature. Awesome. Perfect. Hello, Alison. Thank you so much for joining me. Alison's a new friend I met through my kids' school. I'm so thrilled that you could watch me. This is the kind of thing I do. I like to make cards and share it with everybody. Okay, I'm going to trim this. I was hoping to get a full card front. So that would be 148.5. You're expecting 33 today. Wow, that is quite. Now, isn't that fun? That's a fun little strip as well that you can use for a card. And now 10.5. Thank you, Alison. They are pretty colours together, aren't they? It's something very different. So I've got a full card front there, and then we could use these pieces as well. So that could be used as a strip down the card. Or I could have cut this in half and gotten two smaller card fronts out of that. But I really wanted this paper to shine. Now, let's see. Firstly, I'm going to change this so that it's not distracting. There we go. Much cleaner, easier to see. Now this is the stamp set that I'm using, and I often heat emboss the images, but today I'm going to go with a more subtle look. I'm going to use an eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Let's vote. Okay, if we want this twig, give me a thumbs up. So that's for this twig here. If we want these blossoms, a love heart. Hi Janice. So the colours were Pool Party, Highland Heather, and Pacific Point. So I've got thumbs up. I can see some thumbs up. We're voting for which stamp I'm going to be using. This one is a thumbs up and this one's a love heart. I saw some thumbs up. I'll just give it another second and see if there's any other. Yep, I think the thumbs have it. Okay, thumbs, thumbs, thumbs. Hand, hand, finger, thumb. Dum diddy dum da da dum dum dum. Okay, so I'm going to have thumbs and I'm going to stamp this all over. My pleasure, Janice. I'm just thinking, should I heat emboss or not? No. I'm going to stamp in Pacific Point, do something a little bit different to what I usually do. So, ink, 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 tap, 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 and stamp. Tap, 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 tap. Stamp. Tap, 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 tap. Just trying to think how else to do it. Might do another. Do it like, yep, love it. Stamp. I am truly making this up as we go. All I knew today is that I wanted to do the ink smooshing technique, which is what created this very colourful background. So if you're watching me for the first time, welcome. Please don't be shy. Do say hi, but totally understand if you don't want to. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, so I sell all the products here that I'm using. If you would like a catalogue, please do request one. I'll update the video description. Would look gold embossed. Actually, Janice, you are absolutely right, and let's do it. We've done a layer of blue, so let's layer this. Let's completely go wild. And often when I'm heat embossing on watercolor paper, I'd use the Stamparatus, but I kind of want a textured look. So, where's my gold? Let's do it. Let's heat emboss. Okay, to heat emboss, we need some Versamark ink. It's a sticky ink. And firstly, we should treat our paper with the embossing buddy. Because it's textured paper, I'm kind of tapping it on. Normally just a little rub or a swipe is sufficient, but the watercolor paper is more textured. It has a bit of grooves to it. So, and I keep my embossing powder in these containers here just to make it easier to use. Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to start right there, kind of fill in the gaps. So can you see that? The powder has stuck to where the ink was, and I'm going to keep doing that and then heat emboss all of it. Hi Elfie, all the way from Canada, though I did know that already. How have you been? Is it starting to be fall there? We're definitely getting spring weather here, that's for sure. Let's see. Let's do a twig over here. I'm just inking and straight away, because the sooner you add the powder, the better it sticks, really. Do it this way. Now be careful not to pick up where you have put the powder, because we haven't set the powder yet. We've simply added it. And it seems like you're using a lot when you pour it on, but you really don't end up, not that much ends up staying on the card. I'm gonna put another one there. And one more after this. Forgot where I'd stamped. And we need something else in this corner. As so. Cooling down. Yes, come and enjoy the warm weather here. It has certainly started to feel like spring. That's for sure. Actually, we need a little bit more. One more. Ooh, crash bang. Crash bang boom. What time is it for you, Elfie? Must be late. Doing my live a bit later than usual. This is very not my usual type of card. Let's just say. But that's okay. All sorts. Okay. Now again, bringing out the heat tool. Just heating it up. I'm going to pick this up so that you can see in the camera when it starts changing. There we go. Can you see that? Is it showing up? So where that powder is, it's going gold. You're up late. It's getting hot to hold. There. Almost done. I'm just going to heat up the back to uncurve it a little bit. There we go. Now to make it into a card. I'm thinking that all completely on a card would be just a little too busy, so I'm going to bring my trimmer in again, and I'm going to cut it, trim it. I can get 3 cards out of this, I think. 105. I can't remember the measurement for 3. Sorry, rotating because I'm not used to doing it that way. We'll do 3.5, 35 mils. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3. And grabbing cardstock in corresponding colours. Yeah. Not fun when you grab and things fall. And pool party. There's my pool party. I'm going to make a card in each, I am going to say. So that's the pool party. This is Pacific Point. So all our products coordinate. So we have ink, paper in all our colors, markers as well. And this is how I cut my paper. So I do a score line first at halfway point, and that is the grey one. And then I flip. Oh, 10 p.m. sounds way better, Elfie. And cut. There's that one. And grab. Do the same. So I have little markings to tell me where the halfway points are, just so that I don't have to think about it each and every time. Now I'm using this on the side just so that it can all fit on camera without you not seeing. Okay. This is the Highland Heather. And I always still use my bone folder just to crisp up that. So if I leave it, see, it kind of plops up, flops up, hops up. By using the bone folder, running it down, see, it no longer flips up. What do I score at, Megan? I score at, I am very precise. So A4 paper is 297 millimeters in height, and so I score down at 148.5 millimeters. That is because I can't seem to let myself do it at 148 or 149. I have to have correct for that 0.5. It's just the way my brain works. I can't do it. How pretty is that? And now that one isn't cut evenly, so that means there's another one not cut evenly. That's going to bother me. Well, that one's straight. That is not straight. Can we see that? See, it's not straight. Well, that edge is straight. It's that edge that's not straight. So let's just fix that up. 3.5. Which edge should I decide was straight? It's a nice right corner, yep. So 3.5. There. That's better. And then there's this one. That is a right corner and that was a right corner. That one's a bit less. I'm going to cut this at 3. Too busy chit-chatting and using it on the side to realize that I didn't cut them straight. Crash bang. Okay, so we have our that. And let me see, is there a ribbon that would go nicely with that? Let's think. What else do I have? Silver. Some metallic thread, I would say. Let's use some metallic thread. So I'm using silver because it matches the tones. And on this one, okay, we're going to do 3 different ways. Oh, there was still some sticky tape. Okay, so one of the ways I use the metallic thread is I wrap it around my fingers, which are extremely inky. Snip. And I'm going to add that behind that strip. And to do that, today I will use my nice snail. Oh. Add a bit of snail there. Honestly, that's gotten a bit messy, but it kind of works. When metallic thread gets a little bit messy, it really does work. So don't stress and panic if you've pulled your metallic thread and it doesn't look perfect. It absolutely does work, see? And I'm going to glue that down, but I do prefer the multi-purpose liquid glue. I added more than I usually do because it is watercolor paper. And I did cut this to the full size height. So there we go. And we need to add a sentiment to this, but let's think first. This one I'm going to do, okay, add a bit of snail right here, take my metallic thread and attach the end to that bit, and I'm going to wrap around the card front. Helps when there's a bit of looseness when wrapping this way. Just going to create like this silvery band, I guess you could say. Make sure that end is stuck down and snip. Ooh, I like that. So that's another way to use your metallic thread. Again, a bit of extra glue to hold that down. If you have concerns about the glue not adhering, you can, this block is amazing, it's fantastic. You can plock it on top, and that'll just give it that nice even pressure to give it, to adhere it down. So that's two different ways. What's another way we can do? Let's skip metallic thread on this one. Let's stick this one down. And now we need to think about the sentiment. Because what kind of card, well, not quite kind of card, but a Christmas card without a sentiment doesn't, well, actually it could work, but we should use more of the stamp. Sending you a little Yuletide cheer. Yes, it's a beautiful one. Is it still going for everybody? Yep. Look. And we're going to keep this one nice and simple. Move that to the side. And on this one, we shall heat emboss in gold. So I'm just adding my embossing buddy using the Versamark ink. Stamp. Yes, exactly, Megan. That comment has come up as I'm already pulling out the gold embossing powder. Since we've already used it once, great minds do think alike. That's absolutely right. Pick that up. Probably see it better now, changing. So it should start around the S for sending. There we go, it's starting to change. perfect. And no card is complete without the inside. So I pre-cut my inside cards. And I'm going to grab Highland Heather and our, that's good, just to tie that in. And of course the envelope. I'm going to stamp the same stamp on the envelope. I'll do this one on the front. Put that away before I get ink. And where's my glue? There. And this time I'm just going to do the thin strip of glue. And there's our first card complete. Sending you Yuletide cheer. Let's see. This one, what we shall do is, this comes, I'm just thinking, is it still playing? Because my iPad is playing up. I'm going to assume I'm still filming because my phone still says live. This is the Frosted Frames dies. These coordinate with this stamp set, and I'm going to cut out this beautiful stitched frame which perfectly fits our sentiment. I'm going to die cut that in Pool Party, so I'll be right back, and hopefully that is still working. Now, is that still? Yes, okay, good. Thank you, Megan, because my iPad is saying it's not working. And we'll keep to the whole heat emboss theme. Ink, this sentiment fits perfectly. Oh, onto that lovely stitch square. The detail on that, love the little corners and how they are still stitched around those corners. Perfect. Now this idea came from Jennifer Maguire having those little Christmas light hooks with the spoon so that you don't lose it. It's brilliant. It works really, really well. There we go. Hot. Finger burn. And we'll use a few dimensionals on the back of this one. 3, 4, and 5. We're going to add that right where there. So we've got the lovely metallic thread showing up from underneath, and Pacific Point. This time I'm going to stamp the back of the envelope because that was a light color. I'm just going to stamp that off, and perfect. And of course inside of the card, perfect. Perfecto. That's number 2 down. And one more to go. I'm going to do something different on the inside of that one. 1, 2, and our 3. I think this one has a good enough. I'm going to add the sentiment to the front of this one, a bit like we did with the pool part, the Highland Heather one. Heat emboss it in gold, or do we want gold? Error while loading. Stupid iPad. Do we want gold or do I want pool party? I'm going to just mix it up and I'm going to stamp this one in Pacific Point. I was concentrating. Had to concentrate while stamping that one. And I'm going to close that one up. Oh no, firstly, stamp the envelope. Going to do just the envelope flap here, as so. And on the inside, I hope I'm still working. Well, I mean, I'm working, but I hope the video is still working. Going to just need to trim that ever so slightly. Ooh, no. Good, excellent. Oh, my iPad's now decided to catch up. And we're going to take that pretty strip that we'd cut off before we did the stamping and put that on the inside of the card, just for fun. Oh, good, thanks, Rosaline. Rosalie, sorry, Rosalie? Sorry, Rosalie, I keep calling you Rosaline. Is it Rosalie or Rosaline? Actually, I'm not sure. So we met. It's embarrassing, sorry. Thanks, Elfie. Actually, I'm going to, which side? Just for kicks, I'm going to put it down the left-hand side because I don't normally do that. There we go. So we got 3 cards out of that. All a little bit different, all using the same background so that it's not so overwhelming. I've split the background across 3 projects and I think that works so much better. I mean, if you liked it, you could have used that full card front, absolutely, but that's not quite my style. And I've only got this tiny little strip left, and that could make a nice little card somewhere else, which I definitely wouldn't throw that out. I'd keep that. So I've used every bit except for this one of the watercolor paper, and of course the matching envelopes. Put that to the side there. Now, so where is it? Hello. Let me know if you need a holiday catalogue. I'd be more than happy to send you one. You can start ordering from this today. Very exciting. Oh, thank you for the love, Priscilla. I should mention that I have a customer loyalty program, and that is spend for every $50 you spend in my online store, you get a sticker. Collect 10 stickers and you get a $50 product for free. And to purchase, you can shop online 24/7 at bit.ly/shop with a capital S, with a capital W, Tatiana with a capital T, and use the we're in September host code, and that allows me to share some free goodies with you this month. The host code is XSDFPRFE, and you get free black Stampin' dimensionals. Woohoo! Thank you so much for watching, sticking by. We did create 3 cards though. I should put that on top so you can see that. We did create 3 cards in that time, so it's very productive. I love that you have joined me, and I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday at 10 AM. Thank you so much for being patient with the change of time today, and have a wonderful rest of the week. Bye for now.